Okay, very quickly in this video, I'm going to do my best to walk you through and show you how to create a very quick, easy 3-page website through working with Dreamweaver CS6. First thing, before you set up a website, you need to set your file. So if I want to create a file first, I'm going to come on in to my hard drive, okay? And this is how mine set up. I actually have a folder that I make sites. I'm going to actually create a new folder. I'm going to give it a name. And I'm going to just call this my sandbox. A sandbox can be a place where you go in and you play. All right, step 1, Dreamweaver, creating a 3-page website. Actually, this would be step 2. First thing, create your folder on your hard drive. Step 2, come to site, new site. And we're going to say this, I'll name this one sandbox as well. Again, this is where I'm going to come to experiment. And then you find your local site folder. So I'm going to click and I'm going to find the root to the sandbox folder that I have just created. I hit choose, save, and now I'm ready to work. Okay, let me close this up. Don't want that to happen. Cancel. Hold on for 1 minute. I should have said okay. That's fine. All right, great. So here I am, and I have my files panel, and I can see, okay, this is the folder that I have created. Now I'm going to create my first page of HTML. I come File, New. I'm going to go for a blank page. HTML, none. I'm going to stick this with none. Keep it doc type HTML5. That's fine. Create. Now, next thing I want to do is start building my site. I'm going to insert div tags. So I come to Window. I'm going to open up my Insert window, and I'm going to come from, I can go to Common. I can see that I have Insert Div right in Common. And I can also go to Layout, and I have that there too. So I'm going to insert a div tag, and I'm going to say at insertion point. Yes, that's what I want it to be. I'm going to go to ID. I'm going to give it the ID of header. You use ID when you have one of those elements on a page. Each of my pages will have one header. I'm going to create a new CSS rule. Best practice, I'm going to make a CSS sheet that goes with this site. So I'll say new style sheet. And as soon as I say new style sheet, I'll hit OK. It's going to ask me to name my style sheet. And I'm going to name it sandbox.css. Oh, 1S. This is my cascading style sheet. All of my stylizing will come from there. Coming on in, I'm going to make a box. I'm going to give it a width of 1000. Maybe I'll make the height 100. Just so I can see it, I'm going to give it a background color so I can see it floating there. I'm going to give it a gray color. I'm going to come back to box. Now, if I wanted this centered, what I would have to do is come to margins. And if I set my right and my left margins to auto, it will center it. So I'll hit OK, OK, and I have my header. I can see that it's centered on my screen. Next thing I want to do is I want to come in and insert my nav bar. So here goes. I come on one more time, insert a div tag. Now I'm going to say though, after tag, after header. Now I want to show you, I'm going to hit cancel for a minute because what are we actually talking about after tag? Well, when I look at this line of code, this is my line 10, this is the HTML code underlying this. The CSS styles it. The div ID header, that's the opening tag. And at the very end, this right here is the closing tag. Okay? So let's come back and take a look and see what that means. Okay, so we come insert div tag, and I'm going to say after tag, after header. I want it to be after the header. I'm going to give it a name, Nav Bar. I'm going to create a new CSS rule. Now, what I want to do is I come into here, come to make this sandbox CSS, the CSS sheet I created. I hit OK. I come in, I make the box again. I'm going to make this 1000. I'm going to set my margins right and left at auto, right, left at auto. I'm just going to give it a little bit of height. I'll cut the height in half. I'll say 50. I'll say OK, apply, and there we go. Here's my header. Now, I actually forgot to put a color in on it. So how can I go in and edit the color? Well, I come on in and I open up my CSS styles, and I click this little rule, and I can see there's my nav bar. And I want to add a background color, so I can come to this little pencil, and I can go to background, and I can add a background color. Okay, I can hit apply, and there we have it. The color comes in. Let me come on into the box. If I wanted a little bit of space between the nav bar and the header, I could do that too. I could add like a 10 pixel margin on the top. Apply. Now, if I wanted this type to be down a little bit, I could work with the padding. But the story with the padding, so if I wanted this content for ID nav bar to be down a little bit, I could say, okay, I want to add 10 pixels to the top, but watch what happens. I'm going to undo the same for all. Let me actually change this. Okay, I'm going to undo same for all. If I added 10 pixels at the top, watch what happens when I do this. Up, see how the whole thing grows? So what I probably want to do then is, once I add, if I don't want it to grow, then I need to take that number away from the height. All right, so there we go. Maybe I want to add in 10 from the top. Let me do 10 from the top, 10 from the bottom, and I'll change this number to 30. I'll hit apply. Okay, it didn't actually change where it was too much. All right, let's try this one more time. Let's add from the top. I think from the top is really where we want it to come. Apply, and then we can take away and make this 25. All right, if we wanted it to come over a little bit from the side, we could do that too. We could say from the left, maybe we'll put it over 80, and then we'll turn this one into 920. Apply, and we're set. Now I'm going to just create 2 pages. So I'm going to come in right here, and I'm going to highlight this, and I'm going to write page 1 space. I'll use my line, page 2. Okay, great. Now let's insert our third div, which will be our container. We'll just name it container. I come on in window. I come to my insert window, which is actually behind here. If I can just move it, there we go. I'm going to insert a div tag. What do I want to do? I want to say after tag. This time it will be after nav bar. I'm going to give it an ID, and I'm going to name this container, okay, because it will be that will contain the content at the bottom. I want it to be on my sandbox.css, all my rules on my CSS sheet. I hit OK. Give it a background color, a little bit darker, a box. I'm going to, again, make the width 1000. I'll make the height 700, and I'm going to set the margins at auto and auto. Okay. Okay, and there it is. Now I'm going to save this. File, save as, and it's fine. I'm just going to keep it untitled 1 because I'm not so worried about it, and save. Now what happens is I save this. When I come on into my files window, I see that I have this untitled 1. There it is. Now I'm going to create a new page. I'm going to attach the CSS sheet and put the same rules in. So I come again to File, New, blank page, HTML none. I have this set at HTML5. That's fine. If you have it set something different, that's okay too. Create, and there we have it. What I need to do is I need to attach my CSS styles sheet. So I come on in to my CSS styles window. I click attach sheet. I browse and I locate this. So it's going to be inside of my sandbox sheet, and it's the CSS. I open. I say okay. Okay. Now it is attached. And I know it's attached because I come in and I look at my CSS styles when I'm on this page and I can see those rules. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert those different div tags. So I come to my insert window and I click insert div. At insertion point, I come to ID. Look, when I come to ID, those 3 rules, those 3 IDs that are on the CSS style sheet are there to choose from. So I hit header, I hit OK, there it is. I insert the nav bar, insert div tag. I want to make sure that I say after tag, after header. I come to ID, nav bar, OK, there it is. I come to my next one, insert div tag. Again, I want it to be after tag. I want it to be after nav bar. I choose ID, container, OK, and there we have it. Just like I did on Untitled 1, I have written, and let me double check, page 1, page 2. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to type the same exact things right here. Page 1, page 2. Now, what I want to do next, I'm going to save this file, save all, save. Great. And I come on into my files window. I'm actually going to close my CSS styles window and my insert window because I know I'm done with those two right now for the sake of this exercise. And I see my site. I started and said I was going to do a 3-page site. Well, it's going to do it 2. You could rewatch this video to figure out how to do page 3 if you would like to. All right. Now I could come in though, my title, it's in the header. And what you always want to think about with the title is that will be what we'll see when we preview it. I'll point out to you where this actually is. Again, I'm going to come on in, File, Save All. Now let's make these links work. Come to Untitled 1. I highlight page 1. I have it highlighted. I open up my properties panel and I'm going to find that there's 2 ways I can make a link. I need to make sure I'm in HTML, not in the CSS. If yours look like that, you need to click HTML. I come into the link. I can do this. I can click to browse to the file. Untitled 1 is page 1. Open. There we go. I've made that a link. Or what else I could do is I could highlight what I want to link and I could grab this right here. This is to point to the file. I drag this out and I drop, and there we have it. I come to Untitled 2 and I'll do the same exact thing. This time though, I'm going to drag both of them. So I click this, I point to file, Untitled 1, I click right here. Oops, I need to make sure I have all of this highlighted that I want to be part of the active link. I have this highlighted, I click this, the drag to file, I release. I'll come on in, do one more thing. This one's page 2. I'm going to just write it, page 2. I'll come over to here and I'll grab this one. This is page 1. File, save all. Now again, if I wanted to move this down, I could work with the padding and also with line breaks and non-breaking spaces. Let's preview this and see what it looks like. In order to preview it on the web, I'll come to the little picture of the earth, preview in, we'll start with Safari. We'll click and we'll see what this looks like as I wait for it to open. And let's see. I've just opened this other little thing on the side here. Page 1, I click page 2. My links are working. Page 1, page 2. Not sure why mine opened up google.com. Something with what setting I have set here. I'm going to click, let's preview it in Firefox, see what that looks like. Here we go, page 1. Page 2, page 1, page 2. There we have it. Very quickly, I just went over creating your website. What you do in order to create your folder. Step 1. Step 1, create your folder. Step 2, go into Dreamweaver, site, define your site, and then we can go about creating your pages. Thanks for listening.